So part 2, where Kiva's in the hot seat and we're asking her all the hard questions.
Oh no.
So let's go. So, first question. So let's start with a picture of your everyday life. Right? You've got 3 beautiful boys and each of them brings their own unique energy and needs. What does a typical day look like for you?
Like a referee in the middle of a boxing match. Literally. I think any mummy with boys will say the same.
Okay.
It's constant. It's not just bickering like girls. There's fights, there's punches, there's kicks. And I've actually got to the point now I step back. Like, you do what you need to do.
Okay.
Because when I get involved, they all turn on me.
There you
Do you
go.
know? There's no
I
point in
don't
trying to
have
help.
boys.
But do you know what? Boys, as much as they come across as crazy, as hyper, they are just so loving. They are so loving, especially towards their mummy. So it's crazy, but it's good.
But you love them.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so you've been fighting hard, really hard to get proper support in school for your son who is on the autism spectrum. That is such a common struggle for many parents out there, but so rarely talked about honestly. So can you walk us through that journey?
I feel that so many parents fight for an autism diagnosis. We fight for the assessment, we fight for the diagnosis. You get your diagnosis and it's silence. There's nothing. There's no help, there's no support. You're on your own.
Yeah.
They will refer you to the autism intervention. They send you on a course. Or I think it's now, I've seen somewhere that they give you
QR codes.
QR code to watch a video. But at the moment, we kind of flew through primary school for him. We were quite lucky with primary school. His primary school stepped up, put things in place for him, and he didn't struggle. He then started secondary school this year, and it's been awful. He can't get him indoors. He can't cope with the changes in classroom, the changes of teachers, the changes of subjects. He just can't cope with it. So thanks to a very good friend, supported me through the statement process, because I never did it in primary school. A lot of people think when a child's diagnosed with autism, they need to get a classroom assistant. That's not the case.
No.
Do you know, some schools have a lot in place and some children can't easily go through education settings without a classroom assistant, and that was his case for primary school. Secondary school obviously brought different struggles and he needed a one-to-one. So we started the statement process, which was amazing. I know a lot of people have so much bad stuff to say about the EA.
Yours was quite good, it was quite seamless.
The EA were amazing with me. I actually had a direct line for the woman who was actually dealing with it. You know, she gave me her number instead of going through everyone else. And his statement started in September and he was statemented by December. It went amazing. I thought, right, okay, we're getting somewhere, this is it. After Christmas, it's going to be unreal. It's going to have a classroom assistant in place. It's now July and we still don't have a classroom assistant. And I don't blame the school for that. I say it's more of they can't get classroom assistants to fill the job. The school, however, there is stuff there that was a struggle. You know, they weren't encouraging them to come in. They weren't encouraging a bit of help or support there. And as you well know, they weren't answering my emails, they weren't answering my phone calls, and it actually took me to do a TikTok video to get a reply from them.
So what kind of resistance or misunderstandings have you faced though from the system?
To me, I just don't think our system understands autism. I think they understand the old outlook of autism, as that autism is a child who can't speak, can't do things for themselves. I don't think they understand autism as a whole, and I think it's wrong that they don't look at every child as an individual.
Because it's a huge spectrum.
It is a huge spectrum, and it used to be there was separate diagnosis, where now they've just put it into the ASD and that's it. So I don't think our system understands, and I don't think our doctors, teachers, anyone is educated enough.
Definitely not. So another thing then, there is Kiva has a wee foster son who's also dealing with some trauma and awaiting an ASD assessment. What has that been like for you, balancing the role of a parent, an advocate and an emotional anchor?
It's fucking hard. It's hard, and I always do say, you know, if I could go back, would I do it again? Because I didn't know the troubles that was going to come with it. I wouldn't change him for the world, and I wouldn't let him go into the system. So I know if I did go back, I would do it again. But you do have days where you're sitting and you're questioning, am I enough for this child? Can I do enough for him? You know, and it's so hard with the borderline of trauma and ASD because they're so similar.
Such a fine line.
Now I have to say again, the primary school have been amazing with him. They've given so much support, but the doctors was literally just, their attitude was, well, let's say it's trains of ASD, out the door, out you go.
Your
You know.
situation though, when you took him on, was different than
Yeah,
what you are.
very,
now.
very
You know,
different.
your family life was
Yeah.
was different, so that's bound to have a
Yeah.
huge impact on that. Do you ever feel alone?
Yes, you feel like no one understands.
Yeah.
Do you know? And I will say, like, my family are amazing for as much as what they do.
Yeah.
But I feel that when I took the wee man on, there was so much, we'll help you, we'll step in, we'll do this. You know, you have friends going, like, I put me down as someone who'll help, and the help never came.
Yeah.
The support never came. And you know, I have you, you are amazing. But there's very little people that I can say that help.
Yeah. It's the day-to-day help
Yeah.
that you need. You know, it's not just the odd reminder to go
Yeah.
on and out. It's the day-to-day, dinner, bath, bed, homework. You
Or
know,
even just that text at night time
Yeah.
when the kids are in
How
bed
are
and you're
ya?
sitting on your own. How are you?
Yeah.
Do you know? It's just stuff like that, you know, that you kind of need off
Yeah.
people, but you
I
just
know.
learn to get on with
Everybody's
it.
just so busy and wrapped
Yeah.
up in their own life sometimes that they forget. So one thing that really strikes me is that even while advocating for your kids, you're still having to fight for your own support, okay? Just access counselling that you need and your mental health care. Why do you think that fight is still necessary in 2025?
There's a rise in mental health, and there's not enough support out there for it.
Yeah.
They can't help everybody, and even like I spoke to you last week, I had went for a, what do you call that? An assessment for counselling. And the questions in the assessment was, in the last week have you, in the last week how have you, right?
Yeah.
I had a really good week that week. Mentally, I had a good week. And so I was answering the questions on that week. And at the end of the assessment, she says to me, you actually don't qualify for one-to-one counselling. Like, you could go to a group. And for the thing that this was about, this is something I haven't spoken to many people about. And I was like, I can't sit in a group. I couldn't possibly sit in a group. But if she had phoned me a week later,
Should have phoned you at the end of last week.
Yeah.
It would have been
it was a completely different story because
Yeah.
so much happened then, you know. So I don't think, they're obviously, their assessments are based on a way that they can only take on a certain amount of number of people, so it has to be how you're feeling out there. But I do feel that the only way to get support from any counselling places at the minute is if you're suicidal.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
that's it, you know.
And it's not the only crisis
No.
in Northern Ireland.
It's not.
Yes, it is a crisis, absolutely, and it affects so many people, as we all have been impacted in some shape or form. But it's not the only crisis out there. You know,
There's so much more, and it's led to more suicides because people aren't getting the help when they need it.
Yeah.
You need help to prevent it.
Need now. You
Yeah.
don't need it. Shouldn't have to get the crisis
Yeah.
before there's intervention. Okay. So, what would real support look like for parents like you? What would you like to see out there?
Somebody to listen to you.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, whether it's our ministers, the government, doctors, listen to the parents. The parents are the people with these children day in, day out.
Yeah.
We know our children. I obviously know that there's parents out there, you know, who maybe add a little bit on and be a little bit more dramatic,
Yeah.
but the majority of parents out there are trying their hardest. They're begging for help, and there's nobody to listen to us.
Absolutely, 1,000,000%. So, this might where it gets a bit emotional. So you have recently faced loss, okay? Your wee best friend passed away with cancer, and you're facing your own health issues, okay? So, how has that grief and that vulnerability around that changed the person that you are?
It's kind of shown me that tomorrow's promised to no one.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's promised the next year of their life, nobody's promised the next month. Live your life for you, do what you can, and don't stress and worry about the stupid stuff because they're not important. You know, it's the people under your roof who are important, and the people who's in your life. It's made me value friends who are there more, and it's made me realise, you know, if I'm not a priority to someone, then I have to walk away and not be a priority to the ends.
Absolutely, 1,000,000%. Do you ever let yourself slow down, or does that feel impossible?
I don't think you can slow down as a parent.
I know. You're always on the roller skates.
You know what? You get your kids to bed, and then that's my time to clean my house. That's my time to get stuff ready for the next day. You know, it's to do your list for your shopping, to do this, to do that. You get up the next morning, within a half an hour, your house is fucking tip again. and you're starting all over again. I don't think there's such thing as slowing down, but now obviously my boys stay with their daddy some nights, and I find when they're away, that's my time to slow down. But when I slow down, it kind of opens a little box in my head,
I know.
and it's not good for my mental health as
Thinking
well.
time. I know it can be a bit. It's where do you get that balance?
Yeah.
Do you know, we'll talk about balancing. So, and somehow through all of this, you're still running your own business. Okay. So, how did you begin your business, and how do you have the energy to juggle it all?
My business actually started as a little thing just to do on the side when I was doing my degree in psychology. I was working in a nursery. I was doing my degree. I wasn't seeing my kids.
Yeah.
And I thought, right, I need to do something that I can work around so I can see my boys. So I was like, I'll do a nail course. Sure, it's nice and easy. I'll do that. That was a tough start. But that was 7-8 years ago. And I'm still doing nails. And I would never look back. And I believe I use my degree on a daily basis in my job.
Oh, absolutely. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. So, have you found ways to protect your time and energy in that space? So, in that space of your business and your busy life and your mummy, have you found sort of ways to protect your energy?
Do you know what? When I first started my business, I was working maybe 5 days a week. 3 of them was 12-hour shifts. The other 2 was 10-hour shifts. People were texting on a Thursday, can you please fit me in tomorrow? I was already working a 10-hour shift, and I was going, do you know what? Yeah, I'll be in. Can you come really early? Can you come really late? You know,
I do that sometimes.
she still does that. I work her on my days off. But, you know, and then I got to the point, I was like, I done this for more freedom for me. So I need to kind of like go, right, no, stop. So, sorry for anyone I got rid of, but I got rid of the clients I didn't want. I got rid of the negative people in my life.
Yeah.
And the clients that, say if you have a client coming and you're like, oh, they're in now. They're not for you.
They're not for you.
They're not everybody gets on, not everybody likes each other, and that's just life.
Don't get me wrong, like you come in here and all we do is moan and groan and
But you leave feeling so much better.
Yeah, and we all feel
Yeah.
we all
Do you
feel
know, so I'm now at a stage where I literally do 2 days a week, and I have all the clients I love, I put them all in, and I actually don't feel like work is work. It's like
Yeah.
a catch up with your friends.
Yeah, that's good. Happy days. So when you think about everything you've gone through, schools, your relationship issues, your health issues, what changes in support would have made a difference? Whether that's professionally, family, friends, education, whatever.
Do you know what? They're all different. You know, obviously with the education side of things, I think just maybe understanding and listening from a school
Yeah.
would have made a big difference this year. With my relationship issues, I think, as you may be aware, it's like I kept everything in.
Yeah.
For such a long time. Like that all happened a good few years ago, and it's actually only coming to head now.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anyone out there that could help me at the time because I wasn't ready
You
to
needed
talk.
to do it
I
yourself.
wasn't ready. To me, my thing was I need to protect my children, and I need to show up and be strong for my children. So I kind of locked it away. It was obviously taken out of my hands this year, and I was distraught. I cried. I broke down. I thought, how am I going to get through this? I honestly didn't think that I could have got through this last year. But now looking back, it was the best thing to happen. It was that coming out and that being said out openly was the best thing because now I've dealt with it.
Yeah.
I'm
Dealing.
dealing with it.
Mm.
And now I'm on the path, and obviously I've already said about the counselling service saying, you know, that you don't need it. So maybe better counselling services, but then that comes down to our government again. The funding, do you know? So I am just grateful. I've had good friends.
Yeah.
I've had good, my brothers, especially with my health side of things, my brothers were there no matter what. My friends were there no matter what. I know I can lift the phone, and I have at least 6 people who I can phone
Yeah.
and say, I'm on a
I
shit
need
day,
you.
you know, and the same, I would like to think that I'm there for other people as well, do you know, just to be there. And I think in a world where there is such a crisis with services and the healthcare, you do need that strong group
Oh,
of people
absolutely.
around you. It doesn't have to be an army,
No.
but you need somebody
Just
there.
a few. Yeah. Okay. So I know that there's parents hopefully listening to this right now, okay, who feel like they're at their limit of life, education, counselling especially. What would you want to say to them, and especially the ones who feel like they're fighting life on its own?
Slow down, stop, and look what you have. I know it's easier said than done, but being grateful for what you actually do have will make you feel so much better. There's no point in focusing on the worst. There's no point in focusing on what you don't have or what's not in place. Focus on what you have and just realise that you've already got through all the worst days in your life. Every bad day you've had, you've got through it, and you will get through the rest, and it will get better. I personally remember sitting one night and just not wanting to be here and wanting to just take my own life because it was too much of what was going on. And the only thing that saved me was I got a text message from my daddy saying, "Are you okay?" out of the blue. And that's when I realised I have so much to live for.
Yeah.
And it's just a bad day, you know, or a bad week or a bad month, but you will get through it. But you need to talk to somebody. You can't do it on your own. As much as you don't want to bother people, or you think you're strong enough, or you don't think it's a big deal, you need to talk to somebody, just anybody. And whether it's a family friend, whether it's your doctor, whether it's someone who you follow online.
Us.
There's my daddy.
And finally, what do you feel is giving you hope right now?
My boys. Do you know, watching them boys from growing up into such beautiful, caring, loving boys, and seeing from the struggles that we've all been through. Do you know, it's easy enough to sit here as a mummy, like I went through this and I went through that, but they were also part of that journey, and they also went through it, and they've got stronger. And as much as I can say I helped them, and they helped me.
1,000,000%.